Hello, and welcome to our Congregation Connect Intro to Salesforce course. Today, we're going to go over what is Salesforce and what is Congregation Connect, how to log into Salesforce, navigating Salesforce, your settings, the chatter function, using the search bar, objects and records in Salesforce, as well as list views. So what is Salesforce and what is Congregation Connect? Salesforce is the database and system behind Congregation Connect. It is one of the world's largest technology companies, and Congregation Connect is an app that sits within Salesforce to enhance and further your functionality. Apsona, Form Assembly, and Magentrix are other apps that interact with Salesforce. All of these things together will help us make the most out of the Salesforce functionality for our synagogue. What is the sandbox? The sandbox is the temporary playground that is used for your training and practice prior to going live. You're going to log into the sandbox using the .config at the end of your email address as your username. You'll also notice that the URL for the sandbox has the word config in it. Just know that when you're in the sandbox, you're going to be playing and practicing and training in this without actually affecting any of your information until you go live. Once you go live, you'll be logging into production. So the production URL does not have the word config in it, and you will be logging into the production site with your regular email address. There's no .config at the end. This is the page that you will be logging into when you're using the system regularly, and you will want to bookmark this page. If you forget your password in Salesforce, you'll want to first double check the URL. Then try again, or click the Forgot Your Password button and check your email for the password reset link that will be sent to you via email. Using that link, you can then reset your password. If none of that works, then you will need to contact your admin for further assistance. Also note that Salesforce uses a security feature of a verification code if you're logging into Salesforce from a different computer or a new device. So when you are accessing Salesforce from a new device, there will be a verification code sent to your email address, and you'll simply need to type that code into this verification code box and click verify to verify your identity and that it is indeed you logging in to Salesforce. Once you log into Salesforce, your screen will look similar to this. You'll see that there are apps and there are tabs on your screen in Salesforce. Apps provide a general category overview, and they provide quick functionality to related tabs. Here, the app that I'm currently in is the Financials app, and here are the tabs across the top of my screen. Tabs can be objects or they can be wizards. An object contains a table or a list of data, such as accounts, or a wizard, such as batch payment processing, is a wizard for us to enter payments into. You'll also notice there's this little waffle icon in the top left corner of your screen. If you click on that icon, you can quickly switch to other apps, and you can use this search bar to search all other apps and items in Salesforce, and you can quickly change between them. You can also customize your view of your tabs that are across the top here for every app. You can click the little pencil icon in the top right corner to customize those apps. And just know that this order will only be applied for your view in Salesforce. Also in Salesforce, there's the favorites icon here in the top right corner of the screen. It's a little star icon, and you can use favorites as a bookmark system for any records, list views, or reports, or any places that you navigate to frequently in Salesforce. You'll simply click the little drop-down arrow here to add or edit your favorites, and you can click the star icon from any page in Salesforce to quickly access your favorite pages. Your personal settings in Salesforce can be found by clicking the little avatar in the top right corner of your screen. When you click on the little avatar icon, you can access your personal page by clicking again on that icon or your name, or you can access your personal settings here by clicking the settings button. You can also upload an image, etc., and personalize your page as much as you'd like. And we'll go over that in just a moment. So let's take a look. So here I am in Salesforce. And here in the top left corner of my screen, you see I'm currently on the memberships app. And here are my tabs across the top. If I wanted to switch apps, I could click on the waffle icon and I can quickly select another app. Or I can view all of them here, or I can simply type in anything that I'm looking for up here. Let's say I'm looking for transactions. There we go. I can just click right on that, the transactions, and I'll be able to see all my transactions from there. So again, the waffle icon in the top left corner of your screen over here. And I can customize the tabs that are displayed for any app that I'm in. So right now, as I mentioned, I'm in the memberships app. If I wanted to, let's say I wanted to add the transactions tab to my view here, I can customize this view of tabs by clicking on this pencil icon on the top right corner of my screen. When I click on the pencil icon, here it says I'm editing my memberships app navigation items. So I can see all of my current items. I can click and drag these around if I want to reorder them. And I can add more items by clicking on the Add More Items button here in the top right. Here I have my available items. It's listing my favorites here, but I'm going to click on All to see all available items. So I can add any one of these tabs to my memberships app tabs. So I'm going to choose, let's say I want to add transactions, right? And let's say I want to add tasks to my tabs. So when I scroll up here, you'll see I selected those two items by simply clicking on that little plus sign on the left side of those tabs. It says I have two items selected, and I'm going to add these two nav items by clicking this button in the bottom right corner. When I click that, it says my two items have been added to my list. I have to save my updates by clicking save in the bottom right corner. And just remember, if I want to reorder these, I can click and drag them to be in a different order. I'll click save and let's take a look at what that looks like. Okay, now it says my nav bar was updated, and there we see I placed the transactions and tasks tabs up there into my view. So now I can see them all the time when I'm in my memberships app. Also, notice that I have my little favorites icon up here, and I can quickly access any of my favorite pages here as well. I can click on my avatar in the top right corner of my screen. From here, if I want to access my personal settings, I can click on the settings button. I can also click back on my avatar icon in the top right corner, and I can click again on this little avatar icon again to view my profile. So this is my personal profile. You can upload an image here by clicking on the little camera icon to update your photo, and you can upload an image right here by clicking upload image. Also, you can edit any of your personal details that you would like to include on your personal profile. Let's go back to our slide deck. And the next thing I want to talk about is Chatter. So the Chatter function in Salesforce. Chatter allows you to communicate with others in Salesforce. It's a lot like Facebook with threads, the @ and the hashtags. But it allows you to internally communicate with other users of Salesforce within the Salesforce website. So again, you can use the @ sign to tag a person in Salesforce, another user, or you can use the hashtag for a topic. You can see the Chatter function, or use the chatter function anywhere you see this word post on your screen in Salesforce. So here's an example from my membership screen. When I'm on the home tab, I see this little post box here, and I can share an update right in there. Also, in other objects, you'll see the little chatter box on the right-hand side of this screen, depending on which object you're in. But again, you see the little post box there, and you can share an update. What happens if you're tagged in chatter? Well, you'll receive an email notification as well as a notification on your screen that looks similar to this in my top right corner next to that little bell. So let's talk about the search function in Salesforce. You have the search box at the top of your screen throughout Salesforce, and you can search your entire database for a piece of information using that search bar. The results are grouped by type or object, is what we call it in Salesforce, and you'll see your search results on the left-hand side of your screen. You can narrow down your results to a specific object by clicking on any one of those object results. You can also sort your results by column. You can also filter them even further once you are within an object. So let's take a quick look at those things. First, let's see my home page here. So on the right-hand side here, under the word post, this is where I could chatter if I wanted to use the chatter function. I can type in someone's name to tag them. It pops up here, and I could say, hey, can you check on this for me, etc. And I can click the share button to notify that person. I'm not going to do that right now, but I can do that. I can also post directly on a record. So let's look at an account. Let's look at the Seinfeld household. If I had a specific question about the Seinfeld household, for instance, you'll see on this record, I have the chatter box on the right-hand side of my screen over here. And here I can click on the chatter button, and there's my little post box. I can type in there to share an update. I can use the @ sign to tag someone, or the hashtag sign to start a topic. And down here, you see we had someone chatter @Larry, is the address correct? And then you can reply back and forth, like or comment, similar to certain social media sites. But that's the chatter function. And sometimes that is nice because you can actually attach a file directly to your chatter. And you could also link to this specific record if you are referring to this specific record. So that's chatter. And now let's take a quick look at this search box at the top. It says search accounts and more. Just notice that on the left side here, it says I'm searching all. If I want to search a specific area of Salesforce, I can select that from the drop-down menu here. I'm going to leave it as all for right now, and let's just search for Cohen, for example. I typed in the word Cohen, and here are my results. Again, my top results are listed on the left-hand side of my screen. Here are the results grouped by object. If I knew exactly what I was looking for, I could click on any one of these items and further filter my results. So if I wanted to look in contacts only, I could click on contacts, and here's my list of contacts. I could further refine my results if I wanted to further refine them here, and my results will filter as I am refining my search. Let's go back to our slide deck now. So let's talk a little bit about objects and records. We already mentioned objects are a type of data or category name, like accounts or contacts, that's referred to as an object in Salesforce. So objects provide a structure for storing data and are incorporated into the interface, allowing you to interact with the data. So objects have fields and records. So you can think of this similarly to an Excel spreadsheet. A record is a database row. It's a piece of data like a household or a contact. And a field is shown on each database column. So a specific value on a record is a field. Now, the record page is going to look a little bit different depending on which object you are located in. So here is an example of a record in the accounts object. So an account record looks like this, and the information is split into different sections depending on what data is relevant to that object. Here we have the single record and fields of data. Also, we want to take a look at list views. Every object contains different list views. List views are segmented lists of records. The view that you see displayed on the screen for each object is a list view. They're a great way to sort, prioritize, and analyze the records that are most important to you. So you can customize these views so that it shows you the most relevant information. We'll take a look at that now. So let's go home, and we're gonna go back. Here we are home. Okay, so as we mentioned, object is something such as accounts or contacts. A record, let's click on accounts. A record, for example, would be, say, the Seinfeld household, for instance. And then a field would be, say, contact 1, Jerry Seinfeld. That's a specific value on a record. This is a field. Now, let's take a look at, here we go, as we saw before, accounts. This is an account record, and it has a different layout than, say, let's take a look at a contact record. One specific contact looks a little bit different than that account record. So just know that there's different formats for different types of records. Let's go to our main account screen now to take a look at list views. Right now, when I clicked on accounts, it shows me my recently viewed accounts. So that's my pinned list up here. But I can click this drop-down arrow to switch to a different list. If I want to see all accounts, I can click on the all accounts list. I can also create a new list view by clicking on this little gear icon here, or this little list view controls icon, and I can click on new, or if I want to start from this list view, I could clone this one. Let's click clone. So I'm going to clone my all accounts view, but let's call it all accounts. Let's say I want to do all accounts in California. And then you'll see list API name is automatically generated for you. So don't worry about that. That will automatically generate. And then here it says, who sees this list view? I'll just keep it so that only I can see it, but that's at your discretion, whether you want all users to see it or not. I'm going to click save. And now I'm going to use the filters to filter it to all accounts in California. So first, this little filter box pops up on my right-hand side. If you don't see that, you can click the little funnel icon in the top right corner to see the filters. First, it says filter by owner. You want to make sure this is always set to all accounts, not my accounts, just all accounts. So first, make sure that the owner is set to all so that you're seeing all accounts. Then you're going to add a filter. In this case, I'm going to click the drop down for field, and I'm going to select, let's say, billing, state, province. Here's your operator. You can select your operator, equals, not equal to, etc. I'm going to say equals, and then I'm going to type the value in as California so that I can filter this to all accounts in California. Then I'm going to click done. And once I click save, it says list view updated. And now I have all my accounts. You'll notice this column, the billing state province is California only. So now this is my view for all accounts in California. I can click the little X here on the filters, or I can click the funnel to make that disappear from my view. And I can, if I wanted to always see this view, I could pin this list here so that this is my default view and I return to my account screen. And again, I can switch back and forth. I can go back to my all accounts view if I want to by clicking on the drop down there. But also I can click and reorder my columns by clicking on the column name. So here I have account name sorted by last name, or I have it sorted from Z to A now because I clicked on that column and it's sorting by account name. You can also select which fields you'd like to display here. Oop. So when I click on this little list view controls, I can select the fields that I want to display. If I want to add any fields, I can click from my available fields list. Let's say I wanted to see the number of children, and let's say I wanted to know the contact one email. I can select those fields and I can click on this arrow to add them to my visible fields list. So there we go. I just added, I added contact one email. I want number of children as well. So I just click that arrow to move it to the right under my visible fields. And there we go. I have contact one email and number of children. If I want to reorder these items, I can click on number of children. Let's say I want it earlier in my list view. I can move it up or down. Up would make it go toward the left and down would make it go toward the right. But let's just see how this looks. Let's also remove billing country because I know they're in the United States, they're in California. So I'm going to click on the left arrow to get rid of billing country. And let's say I don't need their phone number. So I'm going to remove phone number back to the available fields. Okay, so let's click save and see what that looks like. There we go. I added contact one email and number of children to my view. So again, that's how you create your custom list views. That is everything for today's training. And I hope you learned something new and looking forward to having more trainings with you soon. Thank you so much.